This is a video showcasing the next generation of Army Series chutes. We've been building chutes since 1988, and with the development of the Army Series chute and working closely with feed yards, some current issues have come to light. One is we're growing animals in the feed yard bigger than ever before. This is stressing out equipment and getting harder on their skeletal frames. This chute, with its width, with its flooring system, the ability to open the bottom right up, your largest animals can pass through easily and be comfortable in doing so. The second is feed yards are coming under significant and sustained pressure finding labor. We have taken this into account with its design. This is a modular design so that parts can be unbolted if they break and replaced with factory parts, minimizing downtime and maximizing productivity. With this chute, the feel, the quickness, the quality, the refinement is very noticeable. Now we'll show you how it takes less time and less labor to replace parts in this chute and get your chute back up and going if it should go down. So this chute here has gone under months of extreme testing in the feed yard and in-house with the test fixtures that our engineers have built. But what we're going to start by doing is we're going to show you how these doors can be easily replaced, how the wear blocks can be replaced, and how every single individual part on the neck extender can be placed, as well as the wear blocks on the bottom of the head gate and some wear blocks on the side of the chute and some nylon bushings. So having said that, we will start. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take these cylinders off, we're going to unbolt the shield, we're going to lay it up on top of the chute, and that's going to expose all our fasteners and connections, and then the next step is we're going to take off these linkages and drop the doors.
It helps when you don't forget the 1.5" socket.
Yeah.
Should pull that guy.
Yes, so otherwise we probably won't be able to do that. Bolt everything up top. Now we're going to pull this stop.
All right, so next we're going to pull the shield off. The nice thing about this chute is primarily everything you can take off, most components, cylinders aside, with a 3/4 or a 9/16 socket.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how this door comes off, and we're going to show you how to rotate the wear blocks if they wear down, if you wear them on both sides, how to replace them. Now, in order to do that, you've got a couple of options. One, you can take your neck extenders right off, or you can leave your neck extenders on. If you leave your neck extenders on, this is a very, very heavy assembly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our neck extenders off and lay them on the ground. So at the same time, you can see how they come on and they come off, and we can explain how all the parts are replaceable.
So to further show the modularity of the system, we're actually going to pull this section out. Makes it a little easier for when you have to, as it disconnects the top mount from the bottom mount. So as well as if you did have an issue with this portion, you only need to replace the part that's broken. There we go. Do the other top one. Before we get into pulling the linkages off and continuing to remove the door, Steve just wants to highlight one of the key features at the bottom portion of this door, which is our nylon wear blocks at the bottom that keep the bottom of the door retained, but are easy enough to remove without even having to remove the door. So take it away, Steve.
And there's your U-blocks right there. Okay, so now we're going to take off these head gate linkages. We're going to take out these fasteners, and Anthony's going to show you how these fasteners are made. They're not just an ordinary bolt.
And so these are custom machine bolts so that your linkage never rides on any kind of thread. It'll be able to just pivot on a solid surface material, but you'll notice there's a tiny little hole right here, and we actually have these machined with grease zerks on the end so that you can maintain your equipment while in use with easy greasable points. So now that we have those linkage bolts out, I do want to take a moment to take some time to explain a little bit of this headgate tower. We've redesigned this headgate tower to make it much more robust than the tower that was on the original Major. This will be shared across our Army series. You'll see that this tower is designed symmetrically about its rotation, allowing the tower to last a lot longer and not fatigue out the pivot point. But even though we add greasable linkage points, anything, if it's not maintained, will inevitably wear out. So, given that fact, we've made this assembly very easy to remove, which Steve will show now. There we go.
So this is a 6-bolt plate-to-plate connection.
So as we said before, we like to maintain our equipment. We got another grease zerk right in there at the center of the headgate tower. All right.
Okay, so we're going to drop this door off. We're just going to leave this one on because it's just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to drop this door off. We're going to show you how you can rotate your blocks to double your life in them. We're going to show you how to replace your blocks. And we're going to show you how this connection point comes off the door, how it's built, and there's a plate in behind it that if you replace your doors, it has to be swapped over.
All right.
Okay, so the door is not too bad right now because we've taken off the neck extenders.
Give you some support.
Just drop them like that. So this is what your nylon guide block looks like. They're perfectly square. They got a bevel inside. That's to allow a nice heavy-duty fillet weld on that solid 1.5-inch pin. And they're perfectly square. So if you notice over time your door slop gets too much at the bottom, you could drop your doors like this and rotate it a half a turn, and you can double your life. If your blocks get completely wore out, you just order new ones, replace them, and then we're going to take off this weld assembly here, pull it apart, and Anthony's going to show you how it's the design of it. It's a very, very robust, solid connection point.
So as he said, this plate stack is to allow for that forked connection, or for the linkage, to make it really tough. So we have one single plate, a spacer to allow that fork connection. So now this weldment is what transfers the load into the door. It actually uses these dowels, which run through a spacer, and then the door itself is 3/8, and the backing plate that we thread our bolts into is 1/2 inch, so it has a 5/8 thick connection that these dowels ride inside of. We just flipped the door over here so we can showcase to you this backing plate that we bolt into. This plate would need, we've moved from a rivet-on connection to a bolt-on connection, so that way in the way down the road, if you do have to replace a door, the weldment comes in, this plate will need to be taken off your original door and put onto the new one.
Leave these a little bit loose till you get your linkage in there.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there you go. Keeping this loose. So as we mentioned earlier, we kept these a little bit looser. Yep. So it was easy to install this linkage. So the last step, once you get your linkage on, just hammer these back up. So now we'll get the neck extender mounts back on, but we'll just put them on loosely for now, and we'll show you when most of it's back together exactly why. Here, you want some? Last one. 6. That's good.
So what we're going to do is we're going to snug the bolts up a certain amount. We're not going to hammer them up tight because there's a reason for that, and you'll see in a minute here.
All right.
So now we're going to snug them nuts up right tight.
So the reason we left it loose, if you come up on here, all of these weldments are on slots so that you can adjust how tight your neck extenders come in. So after we have these on and tightened down, the main uprights, we can then pull these in closer, get them moved to the inside edge of the slot, and then tighten everything right up, and your neck extenders will be a good spacing.
And all we want to do is make sure that all the travel is taken up towards the neck of the animal.
So for the ease of assembly, and because we have so many parts, these weldments are on slots. You just want to make sure that your doors are snugged. You see there's a little bit of travel here. You can watch this plate. So you just want to make sure when it's snugged up that you have all of that slack pulled out. And get it pushed to the inside.
Bingo.
There we go.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to show how these nylon pillow blocks are easily replaceable. What they do is, this is what this bottom torsion bar rides in, and this connection here, this is a solid connection. These are American-made ball ends on 1-inch pins, and this is what allows you, and it's a direct drive connection. The cylinder in the front is pushing directly on the squeeze. All that this thing is doing is stabilizing the squeeze, so it allows us to go all the way in. Anthony pushed it all the way in, up the little calves. It allows us to come all the way out the full width of the chute to allow you to run your largest animals through there. So put it in a little bit, Anthony, and then we're just going to take this nylon pillow block off and show you how easy it is to replace. Just lift this up like this, and there's your nylon pillow block, just like that. We'll put it back on. Yeah. This squeeze is suspended from the top, which means that there's no track on the floor, and it runs on these large nylon rollers inside a massive 4x4 tube. So you can see that large nylon roller rolling right there. You got one on each side. Very nice balanced connection. So this connection that the squeeze frame is bolted hangs on is just a bolted connection. So if anything goes wrong, what you need to do is you need to take the center section off, undo your bolts, and then you leave your connections on at the bottom, and you got to lean your squeeze in enough to get this out of your track, and then these rollers will just fall off. There's no fasteners holding on these rollers. It's just held captive with the track, making for a very robust system and easy to replace. And having said that, we've never yet wore out these rollers.
So another ease of replacement as well as extended longevity we want to highlight here is one thing we focused on was having rebuildable hinge points. So the first one I'm going to highlight is our drop down doors. This connection is made up of a Delrin bushing, and we don't actually have metal riding on metal on these hinge points. What that allows is really tight tolerances and a very quiet door. As you can see, there's no play inside of these joints. And the important thing is, as over time, as you have animals running through and you have things shaking around and you wear off a little bit of material at a time, if it's not lubricated, you might end up with a little bit of play in here. But instead of having to replace this entire door or having to replace this squeeze because your hinge is slopped out, instead, you can grab the impact and these bolts come right out. This is what the bolts are riding on. So you're not wearing out your big components, you're wearing out something small that's meant to take it as well as itself lubricating. Set up like this is you don't have to pay attention to how tight you do it. You can snug it right up because it's designed to ride on these bushings. And just like that, it's locked up. The last rebuildable portion of the chute we want to highlight is our rebuildable hinges in our squeeze. So emergency exit frame, the hinges for our palp cage, as well as the hinges for our bottom doors, all utilize these nylon bushings. So what these allow us to do is to have the joint ride on a very large pin, increasing the surface area, decreasing the amount that that joint is going to wear out every time the door is open and closed. The greatest benefit is after so long, after hundreds of thousands of animals have gone through the chute, if the joint does start to slop out a little bit, well, luckily you can pop out the block, insert a new one, and your joint is brand new, and all the hinge points on your chute will feel like brand new again. It's a completely rebuildable chute.
So that concludes our video showcasing our next generation of Army Series chutes. We've showed you how this is a modular design so that parts can be easily unbolted and replaced should something break. But having said that, the frame on this chute is a fully welded frame using heavy wall, large section tube with massive 3/8 gussets in the corner. The squeeze on this chute gives you excellent body control. It's got the durability, it's got the strength to hold them large animals doing terminal implants. It's got a direct drive connections on the top. It's driven directly from cylinders to squeeze frame on the bottom. On the front here, we've got curtain style doors. The very, very simple system, but very effective. We've had years of testing, thousands of hours of testing on these doors. On the front here, we've got full extension neck extenders. This is a game changer, not only because these neck extenders are built to take the stresses of doing those terminal implants, it gives you the head control to do those proper implants, because we know that application is a foundation to success in implants. It opens up that BQA triangle beautifully to get proper vaccine application. And having said that, I got Anthony here. He's on the engineering team, and he's been a great help here today helping me.
Thank you very much, Steve. On behalf of the engineering team, we really feel like we've built a product here that has something to offer today's feedlot operation, with how robust we've built it, with the access points, with how quiet it is, items we didn't get to touch on today in today's video. We feel that it can overcome the challenges that it's facing today's feedlot operation. And we really believe with the repairability, with the robustness, that Arrowquip's ready to be a partner for feedlots for years to come.